Babes, how we doing? Another chapter, another what seems like we're finally getting into Elbaf. These last couple chapters have seemed somewhat pointless. They've seemed I know Oda's all about getting to a new island with a fun way of doing things, definitely splitting up the crew, and we haven't really arrived or traveled at the beginning of any island without something coming up, some type of surprise. It's just never really happened. And I really liked that. But this one seems to kind of miss the mark. I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, I'm just like, I don't see the point in this. I really don't. I mean, at this point, we know that the absinthe knocked them out, but then they were kidnapped by a strange giant man. Why that is, I'm not sure. This guy's got to play more of a role that's significant in some way, but I don't think anybody's interested at this point in this giant character. I don't think anyone really cares. I don't think he's really piqued our curiosity in any way. Please, like I said, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not. He has all these rooms of people, and it seems like we're finally getting to Elbaf as we break through this Legoland that I was talking about. But for 3 chapters, I just don't understand what we're doing here. I don't understand exactly what's going on. I'm hoping in the next chapter, because we do not have a break as far as I know. I didn't see it 100%, but when it doesn't tell you that there's a break, I'm pretty sure that means there's no break. We'll finally see what Elbaf's about. I think the perspective in which we get that, because they were trapped in this area, will be interesting, but it'll be really cool to see. It'll be really cool to finally see Elbaf. I mean, we keep saying, at least I keep saying, welcome to Elbaf, but that hasn't really happened yet. They're there. They're on Elbaf soil, but they're in some strange world where this guy keeps basically pets of humans and probably other creatures inside his little diorama rooms. Another thing is Luffy's not acting like himself. And I think that there was a lot of speculation about the crew members acting like caricatures of themselves, which I get. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, they're not acting too different or too weird. But Luffy makes a quote that I was trying to, like, when I saw that it was Legos, and I think Oda got that Netflix money, and he's just like, shit, that's some good money right there. And now he's going to get that Lego money, and he's going to be like, I'm in it for the Lego money. And how I know that it's a marketing scheme now is this one quote from Luffy where he says, which is not like him at all, he must have put in a ton of time into it, talking about the creation of Legoland. Let's try to get away without destroying his hard work. With that one quote alone, Oda will make millions off Legos, if not billions. It's just kind of a slam dunk. But I think at the end of it, Luffy wouldn't care. Luffy doesn't care. Why would Luffy care? He's never cared. He's never cared about any type of architectural ingeniousness, ever. But I think from that one quote alone, he's going to be cashing the money. We don't really get much. They're traveling through this world. We have this guy that nobody really cares about. And then finally a name gets brought up that I think we give half of a shit about, which is Harujin, which is the giant that we met back in Dressrosa. A giant that I think a lot of people kind of linked onto. He had a cool design. He was fun. Luffy kind of battered and beat him up. But I think later he became solidly important in rescuing the town of Dressrosa. And we find out that he knows this guy, and he's really confused as to why he would follow such tiny, frail creatures. To which I'm like, okay, that's cool. At least we're finally getting a giant that matters. Nobody cares about this guy. He's just putting people to sleep with his like drug smoke, which I'm just like, dude, like, I don't understand why we would care about it. We're getting flashbacks to creatures we don't even care about. I just don't get it. I just don't really get it. Some other things that I was talking to people about is Luffy throwing out Gear 5 like it's nothing. Gear 4 like it's nothing. In my opinion, I think Gear 4, he just threw it out. There was no smoke, there was no pose, there was no Gear Man, there was no Snake Man, Bounce Man. We don't know what kind of man he's working with. He just kind of threw it out. He's like, this is just a form that I can throw out now. And I do like that, because if you remember back in CP9, aka Ennie's Lobby, Gear 2 was a big deal when it first happened. It was a big deal. Kind of like Gear 4, when Gear 2 came out, he bodied Bluno. It was just kind of like a showcase of, this is what I got. This is my ceiling now, and we're going to get to somebody who challenges my ceiling here soon. Where Gear 2 is Rob Lucci. Gear 4, he kind of beat the brakes off of Flamingo. And then I think he was truly finally tested by Katakuri / Kaido, depending on who you ask, with Gear 4. But Gear 4 was our ceiling for a while. But now that it's no longer our ceiling, it feels better to kind of get it more within the other gears as it's important. I just hope it doesn't get lost within the shuffle. Gear 4 is definitely more hockey based than Gear 3, but Gear 3 might just fall off the planet. I mean, there's no way Oda lets that happen, but when you really boil down to it, it doesn't seem like there's any point to it. It doesn't seem like there's any point to it. Gear 4 can get bigger, is stronger, uses hockey, and I guess Gear 3 would use less energy, but I always see a reason for Gear 2. Gear 2 is just kind of like speed without a lot of like pressure. I mean, if you remember when Gear 2 came out, it was like, dude, my heart's going to fail on me. Like, this is it. Like, if I use too much of this shit, I'm going to be done for. And you guys are going to watch my heart burst into flames. But we get this flashback of this strange giant bird bringing the Sunny onto land, where we're finally getting that this is not a illusion, as a lot of people thought. This is not something that isn't really happening. It's something that is really happening, and this giant just decided to take the liberty of moving these guys into a weird position in his diorama for Legoland. But they thunderbolted his ass. Zeus took care of him. They ran around. They had fun designs. They're in a cool new fit for Elbaf actually starting. It's just strange to me. It's just strange how you can go from such crazy batshit stuff in Egghead and then it calms down. Which has happened plenty of times, fair. But it's never gotten to this kind of like a peak. Like, we're at the end of One Piece. Meanwhile, we're dealing with a guy who's treating them like dolls. And I'm just like... And like I said, he has to be more significant. He has to be. But I don't think anyone really cares. I don't. I don't think you do if you're watching this. But he finally gets out of it. You can tell that it's giant because he uses Kong Gun, which is a big fucking move, and it looks normal. So I think we're finally breaking out into what Elbaf is. I'm excited to see it. If you guys are bored in this next week, go back and read all of Egghead. Like, it's just... There was so much going on there that we still don't fully understand. And we're kind of just like dilly-dallying around looking at these new chapters like, nice, like we're in Elbaf. It's like there's a lot of shit that's still back there that we need to talk about, and I think we will soon. But Elbaf is finally starting, and I'm excited for it. I hope you are as well. Like and sub. Have a good weekend, guys. See ya. Bye.